Join Jinju.
Okay. Why is the strength so less today? Anyways. Okay, guys, good morning. Shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. So we were doing electrolytic cell, isn't it? Right. So we saw how an electrolytic cell looks, and we saw how the products are formed, how elements are getting deposited at cathode and anode. All that we saw, isn't it? And then we went on to see how much will be the amount of substance deposited. Like we learned a law called as Faraday's first law, right? Which says that the amount of substance deposited at any of the electrode is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passed through the electrolyte, right? So the quantity of electricity in this case, it means about the amount of charge which is there, Q. Q is equal to I into T, right? And then we got the equation also. So M is equal to Z into I into T. I told this Z as something called as electrochemical equivalent. Right? This is where we stopped last class, isn't it? Okay. So I told you whenever we are going to do problems on Faraday's laws, that is on electrolysis, right? We will. I would suggest to not to use this formula because calculating this Z is somewhat little irritating, right? So we will do it in another method. Okay. Say for example, okay, I have a reaction. See, please understand whenever you're going to do problems on electrolysis, you have to make sure that the element is getting formed in the product side, right? The element is getting formed in the product side. Say I say that aluminum was getting electrolyzed, right? Aluminum was deposited on the cathode, right? Say how will write the reaction for this? I will write it as, obviously aluminum in its salt will be in the form of Al3+, right? And if at all it has to get deposited in the cathode, it has to accept the electrons to form aluminum solid, right? If at all I want to say that aluminum is getting deposited, this is how I write the electron, Al3+, accepting 3 electron to form aluminum solid. Okay, now the question will be like this, right? Say they said that during the electrolysis process, current of say 1 ampere, and it was passed for say some say 60 or say 300 seconds, 5 minutes, right? The current of 1 ampere was passed to the electrolyte for 300 seconds. That is what is given in the question. And they might ask you, what is the mass of aluminum getting deposited? What is the mass of aluminum getting deposited? Okay. So now what will I do? Right. Now please understand that I'm going to use one extra formula here, right? One extra formula which I'm going to write. So, okay, first, let me calculate the amount of charge which is getting flowed, right? So I know charge is equal to I into T, which will be 1 into 300, which is 300 coulombs. Ampere second is what is coulombs. 300 coulombs is the amount of charge getting passed into the electrolytic solution, right? Fine. Now with this, so basically what I'm trying to do here is I am trying to do the stoichiometry with respect to electrons, right? I'm trying to do stoichiometry with respect to electron. What, like we know what stoichiometry is. Like in the reaction, if information about one of the products or reactants is given, right? I will be able to find the information in the sense the amount, either in terms of mass or in terms of number of moles, whatever it is. So with that information already given in the equation, I'll be able to find the information about all the other reactants and products in the equation, correct? So like if you look at this equation, I can easily say that 3 moles of electrons, right? If I have 3 moles of electron, 1 mole of aluminum will get deposited. That is what the stoichiometry says, right? 3 moles of electron. If I have 3 moles of electron passed, I will have 1 mole of aluminum deposited, correct? Now I have the number, I have the charge. See, for elements and other things, we know how to find the number of moles, isn't it? We can find it in terms of mass or volume, or say one more thing, number of particles with respect to Avogadro number, right? I can even find the number of moles with respect to charge also, right? So it's very simple, right? So now my number of moles of electron is going to be equal to the given charge Q, which we found out, divided by charge of 1 mole of electron, that is F, Faraday, right? This is the formula which you have to remember, right? Number of moles of electron is equal to given charge divided by 1 Faraday. 1 Faraday value, I know it is 96,500. Correct? Okay. So this is very similar to the number of moles which I can find out. So if at all in terms of mass I speak, it is given mass divided by molecular mass. And what is molecular mass? Molecular mass is when I have 1 mole of the particular compound. What is the weight of it? That is what is molecular mass. The same thing here. Given charge divided by, we have 1 mole of electron. What is the charge? And that is what is my Faraday. Right? 1 mole of electron, how much charge it will have? That is what is 1 Faraday. Correct? So with this formula, N is a number of moles of electron is equal to Q by F. Right? I'll be able to easily find what is the number of moles of electron. If I know what is the number of moles of electron, I'll be able to find what is the number of moles of aluminum getting formed with the stoichiometry. Right? And then I'll be able to find the mass also. So here, how will I find? So it will be 300, which is the given charge, divided by 96,500. Right? Divided by 96,500 is what is the number of moles of electron. So I can easily write it here. So it is 300 divided by 96,500. That is the number of moles of electron. Correct? Now I'll be able to find what is the number of moles of aluminum getting formed. If 3 moles of electron gives 1 mole of aluminum, if this much will give, can I say it will be 100 divided by 96,500? Just do the stoichiometry. 3 moles gives 1 mole, so this many moles gives X, and then cross multiply to find out this value. Right? 100 divided by 96,500 is the number of moles of aluminum getting formed. Okay, now I want to find the mass of aluminum. What will I do? This is the number of moles into the atomic mass of aluminum will give me the mass of aluminum getting formed. And I know atomic mass of aluminum is 27. So if you calculate this value, this is what is the number of, mass of aluminum getting deposited with the help of this much current flown for this much time. Guys, understood? So what I did, I first calculated the charge is getting flown. I wrote the equation, the aluminum getting deposited equation, right? And then I found out what is the charge with the help of current and time given in the question, right? And then I went on to see what is the number of moles of electron. I asked you to remember this formula: given charge divided by Faraday, right? And that is 300 by 96,500. And then I went there, did the stoichiometry for 3 moles of electron. I have 1 mole of aluminum getting formed for this many mole. How many? I found out, and I multiplied it by atomic mass, calculated the mass of aluminum getting deposited. Guys, everything is clear? How do we approach this kind of problems?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hope everybody understood. Fine, we'll do a problem. Okay, take down the question. During electrolysis of AgNO3, silver nitrate, (9,650) coulombs of charge, 9,650, right? 9,650 coulomb of charge was passed through the electrolyte. 9,650 coulomb of charge was passed through the electrolyte. Now the question is, find the mass of silver deposited. Find the mass of silver deposited. Okay, I repeat the question. During electrolysis of AgNO3, 9,650 coulomb was passed through the electrolyte. Find the mass of silver deposited. Okay, can you do just like this? Very, very simple. Now they didn't even give you current and time. They directly gave you the charge, right? So do the stoichiometry and tell me what will be the mass of silver deposited. So how will you write the equation, guys, here? What will be the equation? What will be the equation here? We write equation like this. What will be the equation in this case? Hello?
Sir, the video is
Video is?
it's stuck, sir.
Video is struck.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Oh. Okay, 1 second. Okay, now is it okay, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So the question, you wrote the question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, it will be Ag plus NO3 minus.
We don't have to go for even NO3 minus here. See, we are talking only about silver, isn't it? So they're talking only, I would say they're talking only about the cathode side. So I can easily write the equation. Ag plus is what is present in AgNO3, right? So Ag plus will accept one electron to form Ag. That's it, very simple. This is the equation. Ag plus an electron to form Ag. That's it, very simple. You don't have to worry about the anion part in any of the question for that matter. Now can you do the stoichiometry? So they have directly given 9650 coulomb of charge, right? So can I calculate the number of moles of electron using this formula? Q divided by F.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So Q divided by F, 9650 divided by 96,500 will give me 0.1 moles of electron, right? And then I can see that 1 mole of electron gives 1 mole of Ag. So if this is 0.1 mole, that is also 0.1 moles. Okay, so here number of moles of electron will be 9650 divided by 96,500, right? So can I say this is 0.1 moles? So I have 0.1 moles of electron. And why? If I look at the stoichiometric equation, 1 mole of electron gives 1 mole of Ag. So 0.1 moles will give 0.1 moles of Ag, right? So they're asking you what is the weight. So atomic mass of Ag is what? 108, right? Atomic mass of silver is 108. So mass of Ag would be 0.1 into 108, which will be 10.8 grams. That's the answer. Guys, understood? Very simple problem.
Understood, sir.
Yes, sir.
What about others? Please give me a yes, everybody. If you understood, or if you want me to repeat again, I can repeat.
Yes, sir.
Understood, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. You are telling me, so I'll believe. Okay, we'll do one more problem like this. Okay. A question. To an aqueous solution of copper sulfate, CuSO4, to an aqueous solution of copper sulfate, a current of 0.12 amperes, a current of 0.12 amperes was flown for 50 minutes, 50 minutes, to an aqueous solution of copper sulfate. A current of 1.12 amperes was flown for 50 minutes, 50 minutes. Right? So the question is, find the mass of copper deposited. Find the mass of copper deposited. Right? So again, a similar problem. They have given you current, they have given you time. First find the charge, then find the number of moles of electron, do the stoichiometry. Very simple. And please do not forget, you have to convert minutes to seconds. So everything should be in SI units. So 50 minutes has to be converted into seconds. Do not forget.
Sir, can you repeat the first line of the question?
So to an aqueous solution of copper sulfate, to an aqueous solution of copper sulfate, a current of 0.12 ampere was flown for 50 minutes, 50 minutes. Right? Find the mass of copper deposited.
Sir, is it 0.0256?
0.0256, that is the mass of copper.
Yes, sir.
No, Kanna. There is some mistake calculation. Check.
Sir, is it 1.39 grams?
1.39. No.
Sir, is it 1.905?
Why is it that everybody? It's actually 0 point something should be the answer. Okay, what happened? We'll see. Okay, so let me write the equation. So Cu2 plus accepting 2 electrons to form copper, correct? And they have given a current of 0.12 ampere, and for time they have given it as 50 minutes. So into 60, which will be 300 seconds. Oh, 3000 seconds. 3000 only, right? Yeah. 5 into 6 is 30 and 2 zeros. Yeah. 3000 seconds, right? Okay. Next, if I have to calculate Q will be I into T. So that is 0.12 into 3000. So that would be 36, 360 coulombs. Yeah. 360 coulombs is the amount of charge is getting passed. So if I find the number of moles of electron, which will be Q divided by F, which is 360 divided by 96,500. This is the number of moles of electron. So this is the number of moles of electron here. So for 2 moles of electron, I get 1 mole copper. So how many moles I have? 360 divided by 96,500 moles of electron I have. So what will be the number of moles of copper? So if I cross multiply, it would be, can I say X would be divided by 2. So it will be 180 divided by 96,500. So I'll cancel zeros. 18 divided by 9650. Now this is the number of moles of copper, right? What I have to find is mass of copper. So mass of copper would be what? Mass of copper. Second. So mass of copper would be this value, that is the number of moles. 18 divided by 9650, right? Into atomic mass of copper is 63.5. Atomic mass of copper would be 63.5, and you would be getting approximately as 0.12 grams. That would have been the answer. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right, very simple. I just have to do stoichiometry properly. Everything else follows. Very, very simple. So approximately you'll be getting the answer as 0.12 grams. Okay. Fine. One more problem. We'll see whether you will get it or not this time. Just a second, guys. Okay, take this question. How long will it take? How long will it take for a current? How long will it take for a current of 0.15 amperes? How long will it take for a current of 0.15 amperes to deposit all the copper from 500 ml of 0.5 m, capital M, molarity, 500 ml of 0.15 m CuSO4 solution. What is it? All the copper from 500 ml of 0.15 m CuSO4 solution. Right? They have given the current value. They have indirectly given the number of moles of copper also. Right? They're asking you how much time is it going to take for this electrolysis process to get completed. So I'll repeat the question. How long will it take for a current of 0.15 amperes to deposit all the copper from 500 ml of 0.15 m CuSO4 solution? So again, this is the same equation, copper only, isn't it? So they have given you molarity, they have given you volume. Can you find the number of moles of copper? Right? You have to find the number of moles of copper from 500 ml of 0.15 m copper sulfate. Number of moles.
0.25.
That is the number of moles?
Yes, sir.
Okay, maybe. So basically, molarity is equal to number of moles by volume into 1000.
Sir, 1 minute, sir. So molarity is 0.15 or 0.505, sir?
0.15.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay. 500 ml of 0.15 m copper sulfate. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So here molarity is 0.15, which is given. Number of moles of copper sulfate. So now what you can see is, if I find the number of moles of copper sulfate, indirectly I'm finding the number of moles of copper also. Why? Because in copper sulfate, if I dissociate it, I will get Cu2 plus SO4 minus, right? So in 1 mole of copper sulfate, I have 1 mole of copper and 1 mole of sulfate ion. So indirectly, if I find the number of moles of copper sulfate, that tells you the number of moles of Cu2 plus directly. Because in 1 mole of copper sulfate, I have 1 mole of Cu2 plus. Very simple, right? Now divided by volume. Volume is given as 500 into 1000. So number of moles of copper sulfate would be 0.0708. 15 should come. So divided by 2 will become
0.075.
0.075 only.
It will get cancelled in later stage, sir. Because current is also
7.
0.15 amperes.
Oh, we can keep it like this only. Yeah, that's better actually. Yeah, so we'll keep it as 0.15 divided by 2. Okay, this is the number of moles of copper. Okay, fine. Now you can do this. So I just calculated the number of moles of copper. It's copper 2 plus basically. I can even tell it as it's number of moles of copper 2 plus ions. So I know the number of copper basically from this. Eventually all the copper is going to come here, right? So I can say that 0.15 divided by 2 is the number of moles of copper. All the copper has to get deposited, right? So now you can find the number of moles of electron And from the number of moles of electron, you can find what is the charge, right? And from the charge, you'll be able to find what is the time taken. So 2 moles of electron gives 1 mole of copper. So for this many moles, into 2 will be the number of moles of electron. So can I say it will be 0.15 moles of electrons? So this is the number of moles of electron. I have to calculate the charge using the formula. Number of moles of electron is equal to Q divided by F. Correct? So number of moles of electron I know now, which is 0.15, Q, which I have to find, divided by 96,500. Okay, so Q will be 0.15 into 96,500, right? And this Q is also equal to I into T, current into time, right? So current is given as how much? 0.15 ampere. How much?
0.15 amperes.
0.15 ampere.
13.4 hours.
13.4 hours.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. We'll see.
9,500 seconds.
Okay, so now I know the point. Okay, I write it. Can I wrap this part alone?
So,
So I have what is the this is the Q value, that is 0.15 into 96,500, which is equal to I is 0.15 into the time. So 0.15 gets cancelled. So basically T is 96,500 seconds. That's it. That's the answer. Maybe it divided by 60 if you put, maybe it's 13.4 hours, maybe. But I want the answer in terms of seconds only. Okay. So again, a simple problem. Right? Guys, everybody understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. So you want to do one more problem or we'll continue?
We'll continue.
Okay, fine. Right. So we'll go to Faraday's second law. I told you there'll be 2 laws for electrolysis. That's the first law. Second law is very simple. You don't have to do this much calculations and all that. Right. So next is Faraday's second law. Take it on the statement. For the same quantity of electricity, passed through different electrolytes. For the same quantity of electricity passed through different electrolytes, the mass of substance deposited in the electrodes of each electrolyte, the mass of substance deposited in the electrodes of each electrolyte is directly proportional to their equivalent masses. Is directly proportional to their equivalent masses. Okay, so I repeat the statement. For the same quantity of electricity passed through different electrolytes, right, the mass of substance getting deposited at the electrodes of all the electrolytes is directly proportional to their equivalent masses. That's the statement. Okay, so it's like I have say 1 ampere current for 2 seconds, right? 1 ampere current for 2 seconds passed through different electrolytes. Say for example, I have copper sulfate, I have aluminium sulfate, and say I have zinc sulfate. Not zinc sulfate. I'll take the sodium sulfate. Right? I have all these three with me. Okay. So in different beakers, I have copper sulfate, aluminum sulfate, and sodium sulfate. Okay. So through all of this, I pass 1 ampere current for say 200 seconds. Right? Through all of the solutions separately, I have 1 ampere current for 200 seconds. Right? So what my law says is that for the same quantity of electricity, passed through different electrolytes, right? So the mass of substance getting deposited, that is say the mass of copper, mass of aluminum, mass of sodium, right? All these are going to depend upon what is the equivalent mass of that particular element. What is the equivalent mass of that particular element, right? Fine. So in mathematical form, if I have to put the mass of substance getting deposited, say M1 is in the first copper sulfate, right? M1 is directly proportional to E1. E1 is the equivalent mass. M is the mass of substance getting deposited, and E is the equivalent mass of the element, right? Say M2 is again directly proportional to the mass of, equivalent mass of the element in the second case, right? So now if I just divide these two equations, I'll be getting M1 by M2 is equal to E1 by E2. Or if I have n components, M1 is to M2 is to M3, so on and so forth, this will be equal to E1 is to E2 is to E3. Like this also I can write in terms of ratios. Okay, so it's very simple, right? Mass of substance getting deposited is directly proportional to the equivalent mass of the element present there. That is what the law says.
Sir,
Okay.
do we have any constant of proportionality there, sir?
No, here nothing, no constant of proportionality, nothing like that.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So now first thing which comes to your mind is how do we calculate this equivalent mass is the question, right? So for that I'll give you. So remember, for now there are actually so many ways of finding equivalent mass, but for electrochemistry this is sufficient. Whatever I'm going to tell you is sufficient. Okay, so equivalent mass of any element is equal to the molar mass divided by something called as n factor. Right? Equivalent mass of any substance is equal to its atomic mass or molecular mass, that is what is molar mass, divided by something called as n factor, right? So this n factor is basically going to be an integer, right? And in this case for elements, this n factor is nothing but their charge or say valency, whatever it is, right? This n factor is nothing but for elements, for copper, aluminium, sodium, like this, if I have elements, right? So for that the n factor is charge or their valency. Okay, so now for example, how do I find this out? Say I want to find what is the equivalent mass of copper, right? So now how will I do it? So equivalent mass of copper will be atomic mass of copper. Atomic mass is 63.5. That is the atomic mass of copper. And I know copper will be in the form of what? Copper 2 plus. So the charge is 2. So it will be 63.5 divided by 2. This is for copper, right? And same way for aluminium, how will I calculate? Equivalent mass of aluminium will be 27 is the atomic mass of aluminium divided by what is the charge of aluminium? 3, right? And say for sodium, how will I calculate? It will be 20. How much is it? 23 is the atomic mass of sodium, right? And what is the charge? It is Na plus 1 plus, so divided by 1, which will be the equivalent mass of sodium. So obviously, which is having the highest now? I think copper has the highest amount, equivalent mass, right? 63.5 divided by 2, which will be around 30s, right? And here I have only 9, and here I have 23. So if at all I want to arrange, the mass of substance deposited in all these cases, definitely copper would have been more. Then comes sodium, and the least is for aluminum because it has only 9 grams. 27 by 3 will be 9 grams. You guys understood? How do we go about equivalent mass and how do we compare?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay, very simple. You just have to remember the formula. Equivalent mass is equal to molar mass divided by n factor. That's it. Okay, cool. So we'll do one problem.
Sir, video got stuck, sir.
Video got struck. Okay, 1 second. Now is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, whenever I'm going to see the chat, it's getting struck. That's why. Okay. Right. The question. One Faraday of electricity. 1 Faraday of electricity is passed through a solution containing 1 Faraday of electricity was passed through a solution containing 1 mole each of AgNO3, CuSO4, copper sulfate, AlCl3, aluminum chloride, and SiCl4, silicon Cl4. Right, so 1 mole each of silver nitrate, copper sulfate, aluminum chloride, and SiCl4. Okay, fine. So they're asking, find the ratio of number of moles. Find the ratio of number of moles of Ag, Cu. Find the number of moles of Ag, Cu, Al, and Si. Find the number of moles of Ag, Cu, Al, and Si formed at the cathode. Okay, repeat the question. 1 Faraday of electricity was passed through a solution containing 1 mole each of AgNO3, CuSO4, AlCl3, and SiCl4. Find the number of moles of Ag, Cu, Al, and Si formed or deposited at the cathode. Right. Fine. So I'll give you 2 minutes. You try, and anyways I'll do. Try to give me the answer. Okay. So look at here. It looks pretty complex, but it is not. It is just going to take 1 minute for us to answer this kind of questions. Okay. So I have AG is to CU is to AL is to SI. This is what I need to find, right? Okay. So they are given 1 mole of each of these are there. Each of like 1 mole each of AgNO3, copper sulfate, aluminum chloride, and silicon chloride. 1 mole each of them are there. Okay. So like if you go to equivalent concept, just like how I have equivalent mass, right? Just like how I have equivalent mass, like for equivalent for molecular mass, I have something called as number of equivalents with respect to number of moles. But anyways, we don't have to go into all that. Say they said that 1 mole each of them are there. 1 mole each of them are there, and some molecular mass. So 1 into the molecular mass of Ag into molecular mass of Cu into molecular mass of aluminium into molecular mass of silicon. This is the masses I have. Okay, right? Fine. Now this is the mass I have. So if at all I want to calculate how much will be the mass deposited, what will I do? I just have to take the equivalent masses of all these, right? So remember, Ag is in +1, this is +2, this is +3, and silicon is in +4. Okay, so I have this is the mass of Ag actually present. This is the mass of copper, mass of aluminium, mass of silicon, right? Okay. Now if I want to convert them into equivalent mass, what will I do? Just divide by the charge. So molecular mass, divided by 1. Here it is divided by 2. Here it is divided by 3. Here it is divided by 4. Okay. Now these are all what? These are all now the number of. These are all the equivalent masses. Okay. Wait. First I'll do it properly. If I do it properly, say now, if I calculate the number of moles, it is given as 1 in each of them, right? So now if I calculate the mass, that will be 1 into the molecular mass of Ag plus the into, now for this it will be molecular mass of copper. Here it is molecular mass of aluminium, and here it will be molecular mass of silicon. No problem. Okay. Right. So now if I calculate, now obviously the amount of substance getting deposited, they are using 1 Faraday of charge, 1 Faraday of electricity for all of them, right? So don't have to worry about it. So if I go for the equivalent mass, this will be molecular mass of Ag divided by 1. It is molecular mass of Cu divided by 2, molecular mass of aluminium divided by 3, molecular mass of silicon divided by 4, because it's Si4 plus. No problem. Okay. Now if I now this is the mass getting deposited. Very simple. This is the mass getting deposited. These are the ratios of masses getting deposited, right? But what do they want? They want the answer in terms of number of moles. They want the answer in terms of number of moles. So this is in the solution. This is N. This is N before electrolysis. Right? Now if I say N after electrolysis, that is how much is getting deposited from these solutions. What will I do? Now this is the masses I have. These are the masses I have. Now I have to calculate the number of moles. What will I do? This is the given mass divided by the molecular mass. So can I say it will be this divided by the molecular mass of Ag? That will be 1, right? And for this it will be this divided by the molecular mass of Cu. That will be 1 by 2. That is what is remaining, isn't it? Okay, now even how it comes, say molecular mass of Ag divided by 1, and I have to find the number of moles. So this is the given mass divided by the atomic mass of Ag. Again, so this and this gets cancelled. So I have only 1. That's why I wrote only 1 is there. Okay, for this again molecular mass of Cu by 2 divided by the molecular mass of Cu. So what will be remaining? 1 by 2 will be remaining. For this can I say 1 by 3, and for this can I say 1 by 4? Okay, so what is the ratio now? 1 is to 1 by 2 is to 1 by 3 is to 1 by 4. But we should not write the ratios like this. We should write it in terms of whole numbers. So what will I do? If I multiply everything by 12, so can I say the ratio would be 12 is to 6 is to 4 is to 3? So I multiplied everything by 12. So that I'll get a ratio in proper integer terms. So it will be 12 is to 6 is to 4 is to 3. That's it. That's the answer. Again, repeat from the first. So they have given 1 mole each of these solutions are there. And they're passing same quantity of electricity. 1 Faraday of electricity is passed through each of this. Okay. So now I got the number of moles. I calculated what will be the mass of substance will be present here. And since it is 1 mole, it will be directly be the atomic masses of all the elements, right? Then I told you that according to Faraday's second law, the amount of substance deposited is going to be directly proportional to the equivalent masses of the elements. So how did I calculate equivalent mass? Molecular mass divided by valency or charge. For Ag it is 1, for Cu it is 2, for aluminum it's 3, and for silicon it is 4. No problem. And then I calculated the mass. That's it. This is the ratio of mass getting deposited, right? But I don't want mass. I want it in terms of number of moles. So again, now what I do? This is the mass I have. This mass divided by the atomic mass of all the elements. So that is what I found out that when I got it as 1:1/2:1/3:1/4. Right? And this is a ratio. Actually, I got the answer. But if you want a proper answer in terms of integers, I multiply everything by 12 and got the ratio as 12:6:4:3. That's it. Guys, everybody understood what I did here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hope everybody understood. There are so many people.
Yes, sir.
So,
Okay,
Yes, sir.
fine. Okay, cool. Right. So yeah, I would say your chapter is over, right? But you have a job. My job is over in this chapter. Okay. So what the job you have is next time when we meet, I'm going to ask you some questions. Questions in the sense I'm going to give you a homework, very small homework, right? So we have done 95% of the chapter. I would say 98% of the chapter we did. Okay. There are only 2 things left out, right? So the first thing which is left out. Okay. First you copy this down. I'll tell you. Okay. So there are only 2 things left out. The first one is about something called as products of electrolysis. Right. So products of electrolysis, say there'll be 2 things. One, when I have NaCl molten and NaCl aqueous. So you have to study about it. Products of electrolysis will be the topic name in your NCERT textbooks. Please go through it. Okay, it's full theory. You'll be able to understand even just if you study. Okay. And second thing which is remaining is about the cells in applications, cells in real life. Maybe we can call it like that. Right. So you will have around some 6 to 7 cells: lithium cadmium cell, mercury cell, so on and so forth. There'll be at the last end of the chapter. They are given about so many cells. Okay. I have to study about that. Right. So please understand, for all the cells, whatever the type of cell, you need to know the following things. So first, for all the cells, you need to know what is the cathode, what is anode. I mean, what is the cathode used? What is the cathode used? Which element or whatever the compound which is getting used. And next, what is cathode reaction? Second, what is the anode reaction? And what is the overall reaction? And okay, you need to know one more thing also. And lastly, you have to know what is the electrolyte used. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions. 6 questions. So for all the cells, lithium cadmium cell, mercury cell, you have something else, so many other things are there. So for all the cells, you need to know all the 6 things for each of the cell. Okay. And yeah, say our last thing is whether it is primary or secondary. It's a primary battery or a secondary battery. Okay, what do you mean by primary or secondary? Primary is not rechargeable. This is non-rechargeable. So one time you use, you throw it. And secondary is rechargeable. Just like your mobile phone batteries, like that. What those comes under secondary batteries, which are rechargeable. And just like your remote batteries, watch batteries, all these comes under non-rechargeable case. So they are called as primary batteries. Okay. So all the 7 things you have to know for all the types of cells. Okay. So next class I'll be asking you questions from all of these. Okay. Is it understood? Okay. That's it for today, guys. So tomorrow I'll spend 10 minutes on this, asking you questions, and after we'll go for chemical kinetics. Okay. So for me, chemical kinetics and only one more chapter is left. That is my solid state. So I'll be completing. What is the one out here? It's July, August end maybe. I'll be able to complete the syllabus. My part, physical part. Okay. Fine then. Thank you. We'll meet again.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.